Good. We'll wait a few minutes. Let's see if anybody else joins in, okay?
All right.
We're just waiting for, I'm sending somebody else a link real quick, okay?
Mm-hmm.
History. There we go. Almost there. All right, waiting on one more to join up, and then we'll get started. So you got your information mailed to you, correct?
Yeah.
Did you receive it yesterday or Tuesday?
I received, what day is it now?
Today's Thursday.
Thursday. Monday, Tuesday. I think on Tuesday.
Gotcha. I wasn't sure what time everybody's mail ran. Hey, Miss Simmons. Can you hear us? So what we've been talking about is the Gallipoli campaign, correct? Jesse?
Yeah.
What we've been talking about is the Gallipoli campaign, correct?
Yeah.
That's what we discussed yesterday.
Hi, Jesse. Hi, Mr. Hawthorne.
Hey.
That had something to do with like Turkey and Agen or something.
Yes, that's very good. It was the Battle of Gallipoli was where the Ottomans were in the Strait of, do you remember that big word? Dardanelles?
Something. But I remember they placed a bunch of mines and
Yes.
the miners couldn't pick up on it and they were trying to launch an attack.
Excellent. And it failed, didn't it?
Yeah.
The artillery shells, and they trapped the ships, and the minesweepers didn't work. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, I want to show you this incredible drawing I got from the Smithsonian. What do you think? Look at that. I got this is from a museum. I'm telling you. So I changed it a little bit from yesterday. You remember? So yesterday we had it set up for the original attack that failed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so today we want to look at the attack that worked. What did they do different? What did they change? Well, again, we have the Black Sea, the Sea of Marmara, and the Aegean Sea here, right? Turkey.
It seems they spread out their troops more.
Yes, the green arrows, can you make them out pretty good?
Yeah.
Now this is called the point of Hells, Helles. Interesting point to name it. So the Allies wanted to attack here, here, and here at the mouth or the opening from the Aegean Sea. They also then wanted to attack way over here, here, and here at the opening of the Black Sea. They then were going to send a ground assault to attack here. Once they passed this, they were going to come in ground-wise here, then spread to here, but they wanted to hit this at the same time. What strategic advantage would it give them to do that?
Having the troops more spread out.
That depends. That could be a disadvantage if your troops are spread out.
Because it could force the other side to have to spread out their troops as well, and they might not be ready for that. So it might cause a lot of chaos.
That is true, and what you are describing is something called flanking. That's different. That is when you have a group here, and everybody's used to attacking like this, right?
Yeah.
And you flank them. You send a set of troops around this way so that you attack at multiple positions, and they basically freak out, and you win. You win a big stuffed animal, don't you?
Yep.
All right, excellent. I want to show a quick little video here. Hold on one second. So let's watch this and see what happens.
The Great War of 1914 to 1918 is full of memorable campaigns and battles, but even amongst the most famous engagements, the campaign in the Gallipoli Peninsula shines through due to its unconventionality. It is widely accepted that both sides showed exemplary bravery, and the Gallipoli campaign remains in history as a symbol of gallant warfare and respect between two worlds. What were the reasons for this campaign, and what happened during it? Let's find out together. We're very grateful to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. ExpressVPN is consistently faster than other VPN providers. You are able to access the internet without to learn more. By the time of the start of the Great War, the Ottoman Empire was considered the sick man of Europe, on the decline for more than 2 centuries. Therefore, the Ottomans were not part of the core of either the Entente nor the Central Powers. Both sides courted the Turks, but a number of factors, including increasing investment by Germans in Turkey, historical animosity with the Russians, and the confiscation of 2 almost ready military ships ordered by the Ottoman Empire from Britain, persuaded the Ottomans to join the Central Powers. Symbolically, Ottoman participation in World War I began on the 27th of October 1914, when a number of Russian Black Sea ports were raided by 2 formerly German warships, Goeben and Breslau, which were given to the Ottomans and attacked under the Ottoman flag. The participation of the Ottoman Empire had a significant effect on World War I. The Ottomans forced Russia to divert some of its forces from its western borders fighting Germany and Austria-Hungary to the Caucasus front, while Britain and France had to allocate troops to fight the Ottomans in the Middle East. Furthermore, the Ottoman Empire was blockading supply routes from Britain and France to Russia, since it controlled the Dardanelles and Bosporus. Hope for a quick victory was lost by late 1914. The Western Front was in a stalemate, and the Entente was looking to gain an advantage elsewhere. On January 2nd, 1915, the Grand Duke Nicholas of Russia requested that Britain help them against the Ottomans, who confronted the Russians in the Caucasus. Britain and France started planning a campaign against Turkey, with an aim to take control of the Dardanelles, gain a direct supply route to Russia, and devastate the Ottomans. The first step was to gain a foothold in the Gallipoli Peninsula. Britain's War Minister, Lord Kitchener, appointed General Sir Ian Hamilton to command the Mediterranean Expeditionary Forces. Troops from the Australian Imperial Force and New Zealand Expeditionary Force, the so-called Anzac Corps, and the French Orient Expeditionary Corps were also part of the Gallipoli campaign, among the 15 Allied divisions in total. The Allies did not expect strong opposition from the Ottoman army, as its military reputation was particularly tarnished after the recent defeats to Italy and the Balkan states. The first Lord of the Admiralty, Winston Churchill, was the initiator of the Gallipoli campaign, and he believed that 50,000 men would be enough to defeat the Ottomans. Lord Kitchener concluded that 70,000 troops would be necessary for a victory at Gallipoli. Leaders of the Greek army advised the British army about the necessity to have 150,000 men for a victory. This was arrogantly ignored by the British. Hamilton's plan was to land in the south of the Gallipoli Peninsula at Cape Helles and Cedar Bahia, move to the north, defeat the Turks and clear their batteries on the shores of the peninsula, and allow the navy to move through the straits towards Istanbul. The Ottomans defended the straits with the Fifth Army, which at the beginning of the campaign consisted of 5 divisions. In all, 16 divisions took part in the Gallipoli campaign on the Ottoman side. The Fifth Army was commanded by German General Liman von Sanders. Another prominent military commander in charge of the Ottoman defense was Lieutenant Colonel Mustafa Kemal, a future founding father of the Turkish Republic. The Turkish and German commanders agreed that holding the high ground on the ridges of the peninsula was the best way to stop the Allies. They were unsure about the possible shores for the landing. Therefore, the Ottoman forces were divided into 3. The 19th Division under Mustafa Kemal and the 9th Division were placed at Cape Helles. 2 divisions were at Bulahir in the north of the peninsula, protecting communication lines. The rest were stationed inland as a reserve. A major part of the campaign was the naval attack planned by the Allies. Since the Ottoman navy was considered very weak, the Allies decided to send their older warships to Gallipoli and keep the modern warships for a possible naval confrontation with the Germans.
So I just downloaded the free browser extension Honey, and I'm going to see how much money I can save with it.
In the North Sea. On the 18th
Gotta pay for it, I guess.
The Allied fleet, consisting of 18 battleships, numerous cruisers, destroyers, and submarines, attacked the Dardanelles Straits. The Ottomans were planning to defend using shore batteries and sea mines. In theory, the Allied minesweepers were supposed to clean the straits from mines under supporting fire from the rest of the navy. But the Allies were so overconfident that they ignored this conventional tactic. Some of their warships were as close to the shore as 1 mile. This made them an easy target for the Ottoman shore batteries. British battleships HMS Irresistible and HMS Ocean were lost, and HMS Inflexible was badly damaged. The French lost the battleship Bouvet with 600 of its crew. These losses forced Admiral de Robeck to fall back and regroup. This defeat was devastating for the Allies and a huge boost to the morale of the Ottomans. On the morning of the 25th of April, the Allies landed in 2 different parts of the peninsula. The Australians and New Zealanders landed at what has become known as the Anzac Cove, further north than they expected due to navigational errors. The goal of this landing was to advance inland and secure higher ground on Sari Bahir and to cut off the Ottoman troops in Kilis Bahir. The Ottomans did not expect a landing there, therefore only 2 companies were defending this beach. While this force was not enough to stop the Anzacs, unfavorable rocky terrain and Ottoman forces on the high ground inflicted significant damage. Anzac forces lost 2,000 men on the day of the landing and were not able to achieve any notable progress. They were ordered to dig in close to the shore. The second group landed at Helles Cove. 29th Division landed on 5 different beaches named S, V, W, X, and Y. At Y Beach, the first Battle of Krithia took place, and the Allies made significant progress, but were not able to exploit the advantages of their position due to a lack of orders. The Ottoman 25th Regiment prevented them from advancing any further. At W Beach, the Lancashires lost 60% of their forces due to the Ottomans resisting their landing. The common theme of the landings on the 25th of April was that the Allies failed to exploit their advantages and continue advancing due to lack of orders. Instead, they decided to dig in on the shores, which proved to be counterproductive. On the 27th of April, the Ottoman 19th Division and part of the 5th Division counterattacked the Allies at Anzac Cove, but were repulsed with the support of naval gunfire. On the following day, the Allies tried to take the village of Krithia, but the Ottomans were able to stop the 29th Division halfway from Hellas to Krithia after inflicting 3,000 casualties. The arrival of the Ottoman reinforcements to Gallipoli proved that the Entente failed to act swiftly, and the confrontation was going to turn into a war of attrition. On the 30th of April, Mustafa Kemal attacked at Hellas and Anzac Cove and managed to break through the French sector, but had to stop under massive amounts of machine gun fire. The Anzacs counterattacked on the next day, but were repulsed by the Ottomans after a little progress. The Ottomans were dependent on artillery fire from high ground on the peninsula to repulse the Allied attacks. It was of utmost importance for the Allies to take control of these high grounds for the success of the Gallipoli campaign. On the 6th of May, 20,000 Allied men were sent to capture Krithia and the strategic high ground at Ashibaba. The Allies advanced after heavy artillery preparation, and for 2 days a fierce battle ensued, but they failed to capture either of the targets. On the 19th of May, 42,000 Ottoman troops aimed to take the 17,000 Anzacs by surprise and drive them to the sea. But the surprise failed, since on the previous day, the Ottoman preparations were aircraft. The fighting went on until early June, when after 13,000 casualties, the Ottomans decreased the intensity of the attack and the lines consolidated. The final major engagement started on the 4th of June, when the Allies attacked Krithia and Ashibaba again with the 29th Division, Royal Naval Division, 42nd Division, and 2 French divisions. This attack was stopped as well and led to another period of trench warfare. Hamilton's request for an additional 95,000 troops to secure success at Gallipoli was rejected, since another offensive on the Western Front was planned. Bulgaria's entry into the war on the side of the Central Powers made the situation for the Allies even more precarious. The decision to evacuate troops was made. First, in September, 3 divisions were moved from Gallipoli to Salonika. Despite gloomy predictions, the Allies were able to safely evacuate the majority of their troops by the end of the year.
Okay. So what'd you learn from that one that we hadn't talked about? Anything?
I didn't really learn too much about it. The U.S. is very ignorant sometimes. They could have probably won that one war without losing 600 of their soldiers, because they were too
Cocky.
They're too
Yeah, they were too full. But that was the British force at that time.
Oh, I thought
British Expeditionary Force, BEF, I believe it was called, and then there was the Mediterranean Expeditionary. They had groups that they sent out to certain areas.
it was the alliances, wasn't it?
Yes, but it was the alliances. Yes, it was. But the groups that got the most recognition from the Battle of, and I say Gallipoli because I used to live in Gallipolis. It wasn't Gallipoli. So, but they was the New Zealand, and you remember who we talked about Tuesday, Jesse?
Not really.
New Zealand and Australian. Those are the ones that showed up and just kicked.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Kicked major booty. That's right. They did really well. They weren't really thought of before that as having much of an army, but they did really, really well. The one thing I want to show, one more thing back on here. Let's go back to the museum drawing. So right here. So this was a major point for them. Do you remember in the video what that was right there on this little corner?
Is that where they came in with all, and there was a bunch of mines, and there was like the artillery and everything?
Yes, well, that was all over. This blue part of water, remember, is the Strait of the Dardanelles, is what it's called, okay? And that's what they call these little things, little straight pieces where ships can go through.
But
Go ahead.
Did the Allies come through the Black Sea?
No, they came through the Aegean Sea, all right? And then they went through on land everywhere but Constantinople, on that point right off the Black Sea. They thought that if they could march in there, take Constantinople, the whole Ottoman Empire would fall or beg for forgiveness. Or no, they didn't even. Did you hear them say they didn't even send in the right amount or the correct minesweepers?
I didn't hear that, but that's
So the way the history is taught is the minesweepers didn't work. What I thought was interesting about this video, he hinted towards they sent the wrong ones. It may have explained it better, but I like the fact that he said that. But they were very cocky. They were we're just going to roll in here with 20 ships and blow everybody up, and that's it. But what happened was they were sitting ducks, weren't they?
Yep.
Think about it. Do you know why doors now for any public building has to open out?
Like the automatic doors?
No, sir. Any door that exits a building has to open out.
Oh yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah, especially if it's a newer building. I can't remember when the year was. What happened was there was a concert in Florida at a small club. The pyrotechnics set a fire off and everybody ran to the door. And what happened?
They couldn't open it.
Yes, because the door opened in. So now all these people running, there was nowhere to get people to back. They couldn't get the door. There were lots of people that died in that fire. And it was a band that I'd seen before, so it really hit home. Think about that. With this, as these ships came in, the thinnest part, once it opened up about right here, they were getting bombarded by mines. They were hitting the mines and blowing up in the water. And
they can't turn around.
Well, they can, but it's kind of slow for a ship, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially in 1915. So what happened, you have ships that are going down, sinking on fire, and ships all behind them kind of waiting in line, and they're getting bombarded by what?
Mines and artillery and everything.
Artillery. Good job, Jesse. Good job. You have any questions?
No.
Do you have any appropriate jokes?
No.
I've got a dirty one.
What?
White horse fell in a mud puddle.
Did it rain?
And a clean one was it rained. Yes, my mom told me that when I was little, so I always share it. You doing okay with your work? Do you have any questions or anything you want to talk about?
No, I'm doing good with my work.
Excellent. Cool. I'll double it up and send you twice as many then.
No.
Jesse, do you have any questions for me? Is there anything I can answer for you or?
No.
Okay. Just wanted to check in. I'm sad I can't see your face.
No comment. I can click that button anytime I want and turn your camera on, right? It's just like, oh no. I won't do it to you. Excellent. Good class. I appreciate you tuning in, and we will see you next week. If you have any questions, I'll email out your report to you. You make sure you show it to your mom, okay?
All right.
So she knows you're doing your stuff, okay, buddy?
All right.
All right. If you have anything you need or any questions, you can email us anytime, okay, buddy?
Okay.
All righty.